In 2020, Antigua Barbuda, supported by the UNESCO IFCD, began a cultural industries mapping project, and our next guests are here with an update. Let's welcome the Director of Culture, Cordice, and Project Manager, Hazra C, Medica. Hi, get it nice. Get it right there.
That's very good.
Yeah,
that's
after
very good.
my tongue roll, you know, Hazra C,
You need an
Medica.
Oscar and stuff like that.
Thank you.
Good morning. Thank you for having us here.
And now, before we get into the updates and everything, let's break it down and let folks know what is the Cultural Industries Mapping Project. Okay?
Sure, I can start and then Dr. Medica can jump in.
Right.
So in 2020, we would have commenced the mapping of the creative cultural industries here in Antigua and Barbuda in an effort to start to bring things together. In Antigua and Barbuda, there's so many things happening within the cultural creative industries. And it's not just the traditional dancers, performers, but there's other things. The visual artists and even people like the architects. Sorry, I don't know why. It's early in the morning. The architects, but also other entertainment sources, so like the museum as well. So it's really to look at what the creative industries look like in Antigua and Barbuda, the cultural industries, and that impact that it has here. Throughout that process, and this is just really a synopsis, throughout the process we would have even found creatives that we did not even know existed in Antigua and Barbuda. And what we've been trying to do over the last 2 years or so is really just trying to bring the cultural industries together and help to identify it as a unit, as an industry here in Antigua and Barbuda. So that's in a nutshell. I don't know if Dr. Medica would want to add anything.
Yeah, I want you to, I'm going to get to her.
Sure, not a problem. So in terms of what we've been doing, so we went through this extensive mapping, doing a bunch of surveys, getting people interested, a bit about, what the creative industries mean to them, what it is that they would have been, thank you, what they would have been doing in terms of a job and their livelihood within the creative industries, the impact, and we, on all accounts, that process would have been successful, the survey process. So we went out, and why we're here today is to really talk about one of the outputs, or one of the major outputs, and that's the Antigua and Barbuda Cultural Information System. And that system, yes, it's a website, but it's a very interactive website. What does that mean? I mean, it is something that it updates regularly. It's a system or a website that updates regularly. There's information on there, resources on there that you can use, not just for research, but if you just want to know a bit more about the people that would live within the space and some of the historical information about our cultural industries, you can find it there as well. One of the biggest, or one of the highlights of the Antigua and Barbuda Cultural Information System is the directory. Everybody's excited about that. And we really look at that as a support tool for the creative cultural industries, but Antigua and Barbuda on a whole. I mean, you can go there, you can see some of the people that exist in the space, and we want to just quickly, and I know Dr. Medica will do so, continue to encourage people to be a part of this cultural information system as we continue to map and bring the creative cultural industries together here in Antigua and Barbuda.
Care to add on to this, yes?
Of course. Well, it feels really nice batting second, in one of these interviews, because normally he tosses the batting order,
because
the first
I'm
in the
always
batting
here.
order.
I'm home, so we let the visitor come.
Yes. So as he mentioned, we developed the Antigua and Barbuda Cultural Information System. It's an online cultural information system, and we don't want anyone to think that this is a website, a department website. It is a website for the people of Antigua and Barbuda. It is a website for the creatives in Antigua and Barbuda. As Mr. Cordice would have said, during the mapping process, we found creatives that we didn't know existed, but more so than that, we found creatives who didn't know they themselves were creatives and that they existed. Okay. So they're like, wait.
So they having that talent, they didn't realize they have a talent?
More so, they didn't understand what, who a creative was, and what the creative industry, all the sectors that are in the creative industries, what the creative industries refer to and contain. And as we've said, there are two terms: cultural industries, creative industries. Cultural industries refers to, products and services that are produced and distributed, and the creative industries is a term that broadens it. So any person who's creating a product and distributing a product or service that, originates from their individual talent, skill, or creativity, they are creative. And so we had to take that message when we were doing the mapping process, and we had to assure people you are creative. you are a creative. I didn't see you submitting anything, but that's okay.
Not yet. Not
Yes.
yet. There is
So
time.
that's why we're here. So everyone in this building, they're creatives. So the cultural information system, which can be found at cpoise.gov.ag. That's cpoise.gov.ag. On it, on the front page, you will have articles that are updated monthly. So at least 2 of the 4 articles are updated monthly. Below it, you have the, as Mr. Cordice mentioned, the much anticipated and beloved map of creatives, or the directory, and on there you'll find the diversity of creatives existing in Antigua and Barbuda. And what we're here to say, so far we have 133 creatives registered on the map of creatives, and they range from architects to makeup artists to your usual suspects, the musicians, those in the performing arts, theater, that sort of thing. You have the
Even music producers
woodworkers,
as well.
yes, music
Producers
producers,
as well.
sound and lighting. So it's really here. We're really here to, you know, tell the people that, listen, again, a creative is anyone who's producing a product or service that originates from their individual talent, skill, creativity. Jump on board. This is an opportunity. You have what you have in the map of creatives, or the directory, is a profile page that's all your own, and you and your customers of people who are familiar with your work, or people who are new arrivants to your work, they can leave reviews as well. So you have this page, you have a beautiful profile photo. You also have images that show examples of what you're capable of, what your work is. Many have a biography. Some are short, some are lengthy. And we're also encouraging creatives who are already registered on the system to send us more images so that their profile can be a bit more elaborate. Because as one of the persons who manage the back end of the cultural information system, I can see which profiles are visited more frequently, and it's those with images, those, you know. So if you're just, because Mr. Cordice is on the, because he's a creative, he's on the map of directives.
I can also just add something, just because you mentioned that. Somebody actually called me last week to do, in my private capacity as a creative, to do a performance, and they said that somebody took them to the website, and that's where they saw. So, I mean, those are some of the added benefits, you know, just being a part of the directory.
Loving the sound of that. I'm loving the sound of that. That's added benefits. Let's talk about more benefits for the creatives over there. How can that be expanded? What are they missing out on if you're not a part of this?
You're missing out, apart from the free promotion.
Very free.
Yes. Well, as Mr. Cordice pointed out, he's saying, he revealed that someone reached out to him because they saw him on the map of creatives. And I've had that. It's not just potential consumers, but also creatives themselves. They're finding a home. So, for example, one creative told me, you know, I didn't know there was this other such person like myself. So if creatives are finding, you know, a home for themselves, and they're feeling a bit more confident, because they're like, oh, so John Doe is doing the same thing as me, and he's a creative. And so they feel a bit more emboldened to claim that capital C creative. Because what we found was, you know, people were a bit timid. You know, I do a little thing on the side. But now that they're on the map and they see people visiting the map, and when we do a feature, we pull during the week, we pull, because there's a Facebook page for the Cultural Mapping Industries Project, and we pull the creative every now and then. And then they see the response from the audience, and they feel emboldened, and they're like, yes, man, I am a creative after all. So there is that. So it's about promotion. It's about advancing the idea that, yes, you're creative. Yes, you're producing something that's worthy. Yes, you're producing a product that you can sell, distribute. And also in the future, what I think briefly Mr. Cordice and we talked about some of the benefits that will be coming to creatives who are listed on the map. We're thinking of organizing certain packages for them. Of course, we can't say anything now because these haven't been settled. And beyond the map and beyond the cultural information system, what we have also are 2 pending reports one report, so this will be the last component of the cultural mapping project. So there are two reports which are being put together by a UNESCO recommended expert, and she's looking at the input we gathered from the collection exercise. So Mr. Cordice would have mentioned a mapping phase. During that mapping phase, we collected data from 430 creatives, plus 4 additional promoters, I think they were, and event organizers, plus 2 heritage organizations. So that's a lot of opinions, and they didn't hold back. At one point, I was like, okay, you know,
too much information.
we understand. It's like, yes, and what we need. But we really enjoyed it. So one of the reports will look at the contribution of the cultural industries or the creative industries to the economic growth of development of Antigua and Barbuda. And the second, more importantly, well, as importantly, but for the creatives, more importantly, it will look at the recommendations as to how we can improve the infrastructure that's available to them, so that this moves beyond, you know, I do a little thing on the side to, you know, something that can be a primary, primary income earner. And so we eagerly await those 2 reports. We've already seen the first draft. We sent it back for some corrections and for some additions. So the final draft will be coming to us at the end of March. And guess what? It will be available to everybody. So first we'll send it off to the policymakers to say, so, you know, the creative industries, we need increased policy attention. We need increased investment, because this is what they're providing, and also this is what they say their needs are. And also we will be saying, these are the people who want to participate but aren't participating. And this we received given the responsive by creatives who say, well, you know, these are the people who aren't participating, and this is why. So there's certain sections of the population that haven't been able to really engage with the creative industries, and we found out via the surveys why, and so that report will assist. So it's not just a matter of, you know, we have the online cultural information system, but we will have the report to back it up. Many times we talk about needing evidence-driven policies. Well, we're bringing it to the policymakers, and we're bringing it to the creatives, and it's all from them. Mr. Cordice and I know the staff at the Department of Culture nor the ministry. We didn't sit out in an ivory tower and said, well, I think this is what the creative industries need.
They're the ones who say
but
what they need.
They're the ones who said what they need,
now,
and even though you didn't say a thing.
Don't worry about that, man. Before we go, how do one register? Just tell them how they register, how they get involved, and how they can be a part of this website.
Okay. So you go to cpoise.gov.ag, you go to the contact form, and there you will see a little note saying that this is the guide as to how to register. It simply involves them sending an email to the email address that's listed on the website. So it's cpoise.gov.ag. You either
That's
go...
cpoise?
Cpoise. P-O-I-S-E. You think about it, .gov.ag. And so they go either to the contact form, and they'll see information there, guide. They click on the guide, and an image will pop up giving them all of the information. But I can tell you quickly, it's not anything that's, you know, oh my gosh, I'm going to have to spend 3 days looking for this information. It's image of yourself, it's identification of your profession, images of your work, address, and this is very important to mention. Many creatives, they do not have a brick and mortar store. Many are working from, you know, from home, or they have they're working on the roadside, depending on what they're doing. So when you look at the map of creatives and you see people pinned to certain location, please do not go to that location unless it's indicated on their profile that, you know, okay, for example, you might have someone working out of with a storefront at Pink Mongoose, or you might have someone who's a well-established creative, so they have their own storefront. So unless you see an indication that a building is named, don't think that the spot you see them on the map, that's where they're located. So for example, if Mr. Cordice told me he lived in John Hughes, we just pin him at a random spot in John Hughes.
That don't
So
mean just
if
the
right,
URL. Okay.
so you don't go up in John Hughes and then get lost. What we have is the contact information where you contact either via email, WhatsApp, or telephone. And again, on the profile, it will tell you the creative preferred means of contact. If they say they prefer contact via WhatsApp, please do not call them. With WhatsApp, that's also. So you can find the information on the contact form, or on the footer of the site. You see also guide to how to get listed on the map. So that's where they can get listed.
Well, Director of Culture Cordice and the project manager Hazra C, Medica. It's all about the mapping of cultural industries here in Antigua Barbuda. Not just song, not just dance, not just entertainment, but it's all about what you do, what you produce here that says Antigua and Barbuda. Get involved, be involved. Just call MCII if you don't understand, and they will answer your necessary question. That's cpoise.gov.
Ministry of Education, Sports and Creative Industries.
Folks, we're going to take a commercial break and get right back.